Steve, do you need to switch over to a laptop or anything?
No, I am on a laptop.
Okay. It's being recorded. Matt, whenever you're ready. Thank you for waiting.
All right, no worries at all. Yeah, so it is working.
So for the record, because it wasn't recorded earlier, my name is Clary Kutu, and I'm Director of Environmental Compliance for Keolis, and we're presenting the request for determination of applicability for the VMP right-of-way maps for your jurisdiction, and Matt Donovan will do the presentation, and I'll be available for questions.
Thank you again. And Jasmine, for the record, you did read into public, so I don't believe we'd have to read that again, but that's your call.
Would you like me to read that one more time, Steve?
Yes, please read that again.
Someone said they couldn't hear you, so it was kind of quick. If you could go a little louder or closer to the mic.
Sure. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Bridgewater Local Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing held as a virtual meeting over Zoom. A link and instructions to participate in the meeting will follow and be posted to the calendar on the town's website at www.bridgewaterma.org. A recording of the meeting will also be posted to the town's webpage within 48 hours after a meeting ends. The hearing will be on a request for determination of applicability filed by Keolis Commuter Services. The applicant proposes vegetation management along the railroad right-of-way and requests a determination from the commission whether the work depicted on the plan is subject to jurisdiction under the Wetlands Protection Act and Town of Bridgewater Wetland Bylaw. The property is owned by MBTA and located along the railroad right-of-way, Bridgewater, MA. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Department at 508-697-0950 for the hearing date and time. All interested persons are encouraged to attend.
Thank you. You're now open.
All right, thank you, everyone. So I just wanted to start by showing you our vegetation management website. It's a handy tool to stay updated on all the vegetation management activities along the railroad throughout time. The 5-year vegetation management can be found on here, as well as the annual yearly operational plan. And as you can see here, all the towns in the state that Keolis runs through, you can click here and find the maps that we've submitted to you for your commission to review. I've clicked on Bridgewater here, and I also have the vegetation management plan that I can pull up as well. But it's just a handy tool for everyone. It's an easy to navigate website for anyone who wants to stay updated throughout time. So the RDA was submitted to your commission as required by CMR 11, as well as specific sections of CMR 10, which require us to submit the delineated maps of the railroad to confirm that the resource areas are accurate. The requirements are part of a 5-year vegetation management plan, which is designed to manage and control vegetation necessary to keep the railroad and the public safe. As the plan is executed, great measure is taken to keep sensitive areas protected. Sensitive area restrictions are listed and described in detail and can be found in CMR 11.04, as well as Section 8 of the Vegetation Management Plan. The plan is regulated on all levels from federal to state to municipal. And as part of the 5-year plan, your commission, the Board of Health, the Board of Selectmen, and the Department of Agricultural Resources are supplied annually with the yearly operational plan, which is always consistent with the vegetation management plan and goes into more detail on the vegetation management activities for each year throughout the 5-year program. You should have received the yearly operational plan earlier this year, as well as via certified mail, and we will continue to do that every year. The vegetation management plan includes an integrated vegetation management approach where chemical application as well as physical and mechanical controls are used to combat the vegetation. Best management practices are used throughout the plan in an effort to limit the use of chemical application, which has been a big goal for Keolis over the years. The maps we provided you with that you see on the screen here are mainly made for the chemical portion of the plan. The maps use USGS and MassGIS layers to determine the boundaries of the sensitive and protected areas. And we do get a list of all the private wells that are adjacent to the railroad from the Department of Agricultural Resources. The maps don't change often, if ever. They haven't changed just because the nature of the maps themselves, but we do update them. And if any changes do need to be made, we make the changes as necessary, but I can confirm that since the last time your commission confirmed these maps, there haven't been any changes to them. As you can see in the maps, there are areas that are depicted as limited spray zones and no spray zones based on the blue and the yellow colors. In the field, on the railroad tracks themselves, they're marked with the same color-coded system as shown on these maps, and the markings in the field correspond to the same location that you see on the maps here. As the spray truck performs the application, and the spray truck is a licensed and certified to perform this work in the state of Massachusetts. As they go along the tracks to perform this application, there's an environmental monitor who is a direct employee of Keolis' environmental team in the truck, and working with the applicator with these maps in hand as they go along the tracks. Most importantly, the yellow zones will never receive any application other than on the track itself, which is federally required to keep free of vegetation. In the blue zones, the environmental monitor is on alert to and has a plan going into it of what will be sprayed. First, most importantly, it'll never be sprayed more than the interval, whether it's 1 or 2 years, depending on the color blue, allows. And besides that, the main objective in these blue portions is to spray the track, just like the yellow portion zones. But in the blue zones, more of an effort beyond the track structure itself is taken with physical and mechanical methods. We really only spray in these zones on an as needed basis, depending on if the conditions call for it and if the vegetation calls for it. The chemicals we use come from the Department of Agricultural Resources. There's an approved sensitive area material list, and those are the only chemicals that the applicator uses. And that can be found on the Department of Agricultural Resources website or in our vegetation management plan. And that's really the process of the work. And if there's any questions that you guys have, I can open the floor up to you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I don't really have any further questions. I like to hear that there's less chemicals being used. That's great. So Steve, I'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, for the presentation. It was very thorough. This is very consistent with things I've seen over my experience in my career as far as infrastructure maintenance goes from a vegetation standpoint, whether it be transmission lines, electrical transmission lines, gas transmission lines. They all differ slightly. This is a very well thought out vegetation management plan. The RDAs are nicely put in there for basically a status check every few years or so. So with all that being said, moving forward, I look forward to working with the state on this project and seeing kind of how they evolve with their chemicals they use that are approved through the USDA. And I recommend that the commission issue a negative determination.
Thank you, Steve. All right, now open this up to the board member. Vice Chair Harry, any comments?
No, I've sat on these for the last couple of years that they've had them, so there's no problems with them.
Yeah, I myself. Eileen, any questions on this?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Fine.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll open it up to the public. If there's anybody with a question on this filing for determination of the railroad right away, please signal Jasmine. I'll give you a minute. Okay, I guess Jasmine, we're good?
Yep, and I haven't seen anyone.
Okay, you're all clear. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
Motion for a negative determination for applicability
Mhm.
for railroad right-of-way.
Second,
Here in a second, any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you all. Good
Enjoy
night.
your evening and your next meeting.
Thank you, everyone. I think you have your screen back too.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go right into the next notice of intent under new business, 165 Hayward Street, map 38, lot 12, W Engineering LLC. Jasmine, when you're ready, I'll let you read that in, please.
Jasmine? Evan, this is your project,
Hello?
right?
Jasmine, have you read the notice, please?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't get it to unmute. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's right here. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing held as a virtual meeting over Zoom. A link and instructions to participate in the meeting will follow and be posted to the calendar on the town's website at www.bridgewaterma.org. A recording of the meeting will also be posted to the town's webpage within 48 hours after the meeting ends. The hearing is on a notice of intent filed by Michael Moorehead Excavating, Foxborough, MA. The applicant proposes a septic system repair. The property is owned by Ann Costello and is located at 65 Hayward Place, Bridgewater, MA, map 38, parcel 12. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for hearing date and time. All interested persons are encouraged to attend.
Thank you, Jasmine. Okay, W Engineering, you are now open.
Thank you very much. For the record, it's Evan Watson from W Engineering representing the applicant, Moorehead Excavating, and the owner, Ann Costello. Let's see if I can share my screen. I can put the plan.
Here you go. You should be able to.
Saying,
There you go.
thank you. This is the plan that we presented, but I'll switch over to a plan that I colored up a little bit. As described, what we're proposing to do is a septic repair at 165 Hayward Place. They have a failed Title V, so right now the system is failed, and we'd like to get it replaced as soon as possible. Normally, let's see, we'll describe the property. To the east here, we have a wetland resource area and a stream. So we have a 100-foot buffer zone, and we also have a 200-foot riverfront area. All the septic work is greater than 50 feet away from the resource area, but we are within the inner 100-foot to the riverfront. So normally I would probably file a request for determination given that we're 50 feet away. It's a septic repair, but because we're in the riverfront, we're definitely in that notice of intent zone. The existing system is right where we're proposing the proposed system. We're basically going to put in a new septic tank, take out the old failed leaching trenches, and replace with a new modern day Quick 4+ chamber leaching bed. And all the work is in an existing lawn area. We won't need to clear any woods. We won't need to change any vegetation type other than this one ornamental tree here we need to take down. And we're planning on putting a straw wattle in between the driveway and the resource area to give the crew a little bit of room to work right there. If anybody has any questions, and Steve, we talked about maybe there's a way that we can get to work right away on this project, given that it's a failed system, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, typically what we see in this case is that when we have a failed septic system, especially when it's impacting the homeowner's life by not having, it's urgent that we get this project done sooner rather than later. And the fact that it's going in the same exact location makes it almost a no-brainer. I mean, these people need to upgrade their system. It's failed. I've been in coordination with Eric Badger, the Board of Health agent. I've spoken to him. He had some staffing issues as far as to why this, there was some sort of sign-off that hasn't been done yet, but I'm waiting on that. Once that is done, I will be hopefully encouraging Mr. Watson to tell his applicant to move forward so that they can get this situation rectified. Of course, that will be in accordance with me coming out to check the siltation and erosion control as standard with most orders and conditions issued by the town of Bridgewater. So there'll be some conditions put in, but we expect to move forward and be able to move forward to make sure that the resident and homeowner actually isn't polluting more with untreated, technically or potentially untreated water making its way down into the stream.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Actually, you answered the questions that I was going to ask. Obviously, Eric's been out there. It's a failed system. It doesn't do the environment any good. It's existing where it's going. I have no further comments on this. I'll open it up this time to the board. Harry and then Eileen.
Eric Badger contacted me. I went down and took a quick peek, and he told me that it was going in the same place and everything. So I see no problems at all.
Eileen.
I have no issues at all.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, I will open it up to the general public with any comments. This is a notice of intent, again, on 165 Hayward Street, map 38, lot 12. I'll give it a moment, and Jasmine can let me know if anybody's got a question.
No, nobody's raised any hands.
Okay, then at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
A motion to close, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to close the hearing on 165 Hayward Street, Bridgewater.
Second.
Hayward Place, excuse me.
All right, we heard a second. Harry, a second. Any further discussion?
I would like to just make one comment. Just ensuring that we do get compliance with a pre-work on-site inspection of the silt fence and hay bale. I just want to make sure that makes it into the record, or that the silt fence and straw wattle, that we inspect that before work is to start, if we're going to move before the order is issued in an emergency basis.
Okay, that is, that's noted. And actually, during this discussion too, where this is kind of an emergency with the failed system, maybe we should take a roll call vote on it. So I guess it's officially closed it. The chair would actually entertain another motion, please.
A motion to approve or to just allow them to start?
Second.
A motion to close,
We did that.
We closed already.
right, with the understanding that, or yeah, if you guys want to approve an order of conditions with the understanding,
The
the special
negative
condition.
determination.
Of the special conditions that was stated up.
It's a
that
negative
I stated for the
determination.
record.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's a notice of intent, Jasmine.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right. Okay, so Eileen,
So a motion to approve with special conditions with the understanding that they are going to be allowed to start because of the emergency situation.
Second.
all right, here in a second, any further discussion? No, just as we had stated with those special conditions. All right, at this time, roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay.
Evan,
One
we'll-
question. Yes, Steve, are you available tomorrow to come out to the site? Because I think he's ready to get going if we're allowed to. So,
probably Monday.
okay, very good. I'll let him know.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you very
All right,
much. Have a
thank
good
you very
evening.
You too. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to keep moving right along. We're going to go on to old business. This is a notice of intent off Fruit Street, map 83, lot 84, Silver Engineering, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. My name is Ed Brennan. I'm an attorney in Taunton representing the applicant. This is the continued hearing from a couple of weeks ago. Rebecca Baptista from Silver Engineering is here tonight to represent the engineering facet of the project. You may recall that the commission was awaiting input from the town engineer, Azu Itinero, and I understand that you now have a correspondence from him and that Silver Engineering has responded to the comments by Azu. So I think the board has the updated information on the engineering questions that were raised.
I will, thank you. I will start with Steve. I have not seen anything come through from Azu, so Steve, if you can update us on that.
You guys did not get those comments. I forwarded those all to the board. Yeah, so those comments came in after the last planning board hearing or in relation to Elijah's request for town engineer comments. We saw the content of those, or I did, and reviewed them. They're consistent with everything that's being, I'm just confused with what, okay, so who's got the screen right now? Rebecca?
I have the screen. I'm sorry. Yes.
Caused me to lose my train of thought. So basically the outstanding issues on this project were, we had some abutters issues as far as water quality. We can talk about water quality if people would like, but as far as the engineering concerns are, I am comfortable with the comments. It's obvious the commission still needs to see those comments in order to complete their review.
Yes, did you send that to, what email did you send it to, or me? Did you send it to the old, the new? I honestly had not seen the comments, so, but,
If the commission wishes, the comments are on the screen and we can go through them one at a time.
I still have, I mean, I was out there the other day with Eileen. As we're going forward still, I mean, we have issues when we don't have these large plans, and we're making changes with our meetings so that we're assured to have these plans, because it's very difficult to be out there, you know, without the plans. I don't know if you're available to come out with us one day, but I still need a little bit more time on this filing. I just don't have a good feel when I'm out there yet. I'll open it up more to the board members if they have any comments on it, as I'm reading your comments here. Harry?
Well, I was going to bring it up later, but nothing has changed in the way that we operate. We always have plans when we go out to visit, and working without plans, I get lost with the plans, never mind without them. So
I think we're all in agreement on that. Going forward, we need to start getting our large plans, which we're putting into place, because it's how we do our job.
The commission received the plans. Anytime you need plans, please call. If you don't get them from the office, we have them at our office.
Right. Well, we're going forward. We had spoken with, and we got to make sure that engineers, like the old days when we're in person, has enough plans for each member. Every member either goes out separately or not. So we did address this, but that's going forward with every filing now coming up, that we still need to get our plans in hand. So I just got the live plans in hand today. Again, I was out there the other day, still didn't get a good feel without the plans. So I really can't make any concrete judgment call at this time. And again, I'll refer more back to Harry and Eileen. Any comments at this time?
no, I'd like to go out there with a set of plans when I go.
Can we address just two comments that I keep seeing, just for, put them into the record. I keep seeing the comment of asking to use permeable pavement. I think permeable pavement is a great low impact development resource. However, it has to be used in project appropriate situations. I do not think that this project proposal is appropriate for permeable pavement because of the fact that the use that's proposed, being a warehouse and potential spills, are going to go straight through that permeable pavement and into the groundwater, which we're also concerned, or there have been comments about the Zone 2 aquifer that is in Raynham. Now, to answer those questions, the Zone 2 aquifer that is in Raynham has been addressed and they've been notified, they've been talked to by the applicant. I'm sure Rebecca can confirm that.
Yes, they have.
And they have not issued any statements to us concerning their Zone 2 aquifer situation. So it is not our jurisdiction to comment on their lack of comments on their aquifer. But those are two comments that seem to keep coming up, and I just wanted to address them as to where I stand and where I will suggest the commissioners go for their stance. They do not have to take that, but that is my suggestion.
No, thank you, Steve. And of course, certainly anytime any spills with vehicles enter the ground, that's not good. I mean, vehicles have a lot of stuff that can spill out of them between gas, oils, you name it. So thank you for that comment. Eileen, any comments from you at this time?
No, except that I want to go back out there again as well.
Okay.
and try to review with the full set of plans. There's also some people requesting letters to be read into the from abutters.
I have-
I'm watching this kind of side.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, can I speak up, please?
Sure. Yes.
My name's Ken Thompson. I'm the botanist who flagged that property back in 2007 and reviewed it. If you'd like, I could take the commission for the walk for the review of the site.
Yes, Ken, thank you. I would like that.
Yes.
Okay, so we will do that, and if all three members are going to go, obviously we will have to advertise that we will have a quorum. So you three can speak amongst each other to decide if all three of you want to go or if two of you want to go.
I think,
That's up for you.
yeah, I mean, Harry, would you want to go with me and Eileen?
Yes.
All right, so we will make it as a quorum site visit.
Okay.
And we will coordinate with Jasmine with our schedules. Therefore, Jasmine can then coordinate with Ken Thompson on his, and we'll set and that will be posted publicly on the website for those listening. Before I open it up to any public comments, any further things from the board?
Nope.
Okay. And any comments, Steve, I would suggest that any comments that were sent in writing, I have reviewed a few of them from abutters, that they just be put into the record. We have acknowledged them, and that's.
Yeah, if Miss Raymondetta would like to speak, I saw her on the line.
I am now going to open it up to the public. So Jasmine, you can take it. If anybody would like to speak on this filing, again, we are talking about off Fruit Street, map 83, lot 84.
If anyone could use the raise your hand feature or physically wave at the camera so we know you'd like to speak, that would be great. I'm not seeing anything. See, oh, here, Melissa. Okay. I asked you to unmute, Melissa.
Okay, there. Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for hearing my comments. I did send a letter dated August.
Melissa Hunt, can you just please state your name and address for the record?
I do this every time.
It's all right.
Thanks. Melissa Raymondetta, 317 Lakeside Drive. I do just want to make note of my letter dated August 31st, 2020 to the Commission with regard to this notice of intent. And I had a few comments, general comments just to make. I'll keep to the 3-minute time.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate the fact that this area, and in fact the entire project, the 4-phase project, is designated within an ACEC. And with regard to the 100-foot buffer, I realize that this flags the Concom. And the fact that there is a parking lot area as well as the building is of concern, mainly because we do not know the type of business that will be in this building and what types of things will be trucked in and out and stored. The other thing I wanted to make note of is on the plans, there's a notation of other open areas that comprises 2.68 acres, but it's not clearly identified what the 2.6 acres will comprise and if those are going to be disturbed areas or they'll remain in their natural condition. So I was wondering if maybe Silva could comment on that. And my last comment is, you know, although this is compared to the 4-phase project, a small part of this project, please, when you do make your determinations, keep in mind that this is a small part of a very large project that no doubt will have impact on the general area, and that we have, you know, 30 ACECs within the state of Massachusetts, 3 of which are within about a 15-mile radius of us here. So just to keep that in mind, and thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, Melissa. And yes, ACEC area is very much on our minds with this filing. So again, thank you. And Rebecca, can you answer her second question?
Yes, I can. So we have a breakdown of the site data. We have the total area of the site of this lot is actually 24.8 acres. Of that, 11.7 is uplands and 13 is wetlands. So we're not even counting that as open area when I do this open area calc. 13 acres is wetlands and untouchable. Amongst this area that is to be developed is impervious for building, impervious for pavement. Then we have the drainage areas. That's contained within this tan outline. That's berm, and on the inside is where the water will be contained. It's the outside where the downslope will be loam and seeded, or this upslope here where it'll be loam and seeded. That's considered open space because they're not going to use it. They're not going to be able to access it. Again, down here on this side next to Route 24, there's going to be all this area that'll just remain however it's going to grow. If it's loam and seed and eventually the wetland grasses will take over, it's going to be maintained as green space. That's the open area.
All right, thank you very much, Rebecca.
Welcome.
And again, I think it is important that we go out there as a quorum. And again, Ken, thank you for meeting us when we get the time set. I know myself, I just don't have a good feel yet until we're out there again. So at this time, anybody further with a comment or question from the public?
Yes, so Janet Hansen from 665 Pleasant Street says she is concerned about the area of the 100-foot buffer. They say they're within the 25 foot of the minimum allowed. This whole area is very sensitive area, and I hope it will be looked at very, very carefully.
And yes, that's what we're going to go look at very, very carefully.
We have one more. There's Joe Callahan, Taunton River Watershed Alliance board member. Questions? Does the applicant have an operations and maintenance plan for their best practices? Is the building to be used for hazardous materials or storage or use of them?
Out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah, we don't have any knowledge of what's going to be inside.
There was an O&M submitted with the NOI.
And then Pat Neary's been waiting to speak, if I may unmute her.
Yep. And again, for the record, please state your name and address, Pat.
Let me unmute myself. Hi, this is Pat Neary from 225 Lakeside Drive, and I will try to not repeat what's already been discussed, although I did print out my comments previously, so please bear with me. You've been reminded, and I know this is part of your job, to take care of any concerns regarding the Hockomock Swamp area of critical environmental concern. You know it requires closer scrutiny, and I can see that you will be trying to do that when you get out there and take a look at the area. It is critical that a 100-foot no-build buffer from the wetlands is maintained in this area. The Secretary of the Mass Department of Environmental Protection has consistently asked this proponent to keep all buildings and parking out of the 100-foot buffer for other projects, and that would be the same request for this project. I know that the proponent has drawn up plans that utilize every inch of upland space, which is done to enhance their bottom line. Maybe they can obtain a few more parking spaces or one more tenant without regard to protecting this environmentally sensitive area. And I know that's what the Conservation Commission is charged with. It's to take care of the wetland areas and open space in our town. Referring back to the master plan for this planned development district, it requires that the development protect sensitive natural resources such as wetlands and wildlife habitat identified in this district. This plan is all building, roof, impervious pavement, and it really should be reduced in size. I don't know if that can happen. The planning board probably has more jurisdiction since you address more environmentally sensitive areas. The Planned Development District zoning encourages development without adverse impacts on the neighborhoods or on the town's natural resources. Traffic may be a planning board issue, but the added vehicle traffic creates pollution and greenhouse gases. At the planning board meeting recently, the developer's traffic consultant, Gary McNaughton, stated that they couldn't do a traffic study right now. Why is that? I have to find out at the planning board meeting. And that would be okay. Better to wait until the 300 apartments are occupied. Because if they wait until that's done, they'll be able to get a better feel of the traffic and the water consumption that will be affected or will affect our neighborhood and our town. And I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Pat. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you, Pat.
Thank you. Okay, and Jasmine, anybody further with a question or
Yes,
comment?
Mr. Callahan is going to speak. I'm going to.
Can you hear me?
Unmuted. Yes, we can.
Yep,
Hi,
again,
Joe
state your name.
Kelly.
Yep, state your
Joe
name.
Kelly, Joe Callahan, Taunton River Watershed Alliance Board member. I was just getting back
Your
to-
address, please, though. You need to state your address also for the record.
I live in Berkeley, 1 Ferry Farm Road.
Thank you.
I was just getting back to Mr. Sobo's response. I think you guys have jurisdiction over, stormwater standards. So I was curious why there isn't an O&M plan for the stormwater structures, i.e. catch basins, clean outs, detention basin, making sure that that's adequately, working,
Yep. No, I'm sorry. I misread your question because I posed a question to Rebecca privately asking, I thought you meant the chemicals to be actually housed within the proposed warehouse. So that was my mistake.
No, I meant the stormwater structures.
Yeah, no, that's all been reviewed.
And obviously, I'm voicing my concern about the amount of coverage in this area, and I realize it's in a planned development district, but I'm not sure why that was ever, put by the town of Bridgewater, allowed to be a PDD, in that particular area, and given the sensitivity, the area of critical environmental concern with the Hockomock Swamp, the Zone 2 aquifer, the town of Raynham, the wetlands. It's all low-lying wetland area. And, that's why my question about porous paving, and if you looked at it, and I agree with you, I would have concerns about the building if there is plan in that area that something with oil and hazardous materials are going to be used and may be leaked into the porous paving. But I refer you to also the University of New Hampshire website, which has a lot of information on porous paving, how it's constructed, how it's maintained over the years, and how it's adequate for this particular area, and inadequate for just surface spills that normally, like an oil staining from a car or something like that. But I agree with you if you don't know what the building is actually going to be used for in the future, which really concerns me. But thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, Mr.
Callahan.
Callahan.
Have a good evening.
Thank
Jasmine,
you.
anybody else?
Not seeing any. Do you want to give one more second to see if anybody else waves their hand? Still nothing in
Okay.
the chat.
All right. Would Silver Engineering like to request a continuance at this time, or back to?
Madam Chairman, if I may be heard, just on one scheduling issue, do you have any idea as to whether the site walk would take place prior to your next scheduled meeting?
Yes, yes. When we want a site walk, we do make sure we get out there prior to the next meeting. We just have, conflicting schedules sometimes. I am a nurse in Boston, so we just have to make sure that we get a day that all three are around. But we definitely get it done before the next meeting.
Okay.
We need 48 hours to post it, so pretty much I'll be checking in with them tomorrow on our schedules.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to get something in stone probably mid next week, hopefully. So that way we have time to review everything and everyone has time to go home and review.
As always, I got to look at that hospital schedule and then I'll get in touch with the rest of the members. Thank you. Okay, so
Would you require a request that we continue this to the next scheduled meeting?
we do now, yes.
And do you know when that meeting is?
It would be, so today's the 10th. Jasmine, just correct me, the 24th is our next scheduled meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, you can consider the applicant making that request, Madam Chairman.
Would you please be able to forward that in an official email to Jasmine when you have a chance tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do it in the morning.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Mr. Brennan.
Okay, at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
A motion to continue the hearing to 9/24, 20 at 6:30 PM
Yep, on,
at 9/24.
I
just said.
Yeah, off fruit.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Fruit Street, map 83, lot 84, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Jeez.
Trying to give you a hint there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, second.
All right, here in a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we are moving now on to the next under old business is notice of intent, 13 Vernon Street, map 124, lots 26, 12, and 81.
2 more meetings.
And that is Silver Engineering, please.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pull the plan up.
Play it back. I said, who was that? They said, I don't know, sir. I said, play it back. I said, that man is going to be the star. It was John Jett.
Okay.
That was in the Republican primary.
Is anybody not
Someone's
muted in the
TV's
back?
on.
Yeah, someone's TV. Got to mute. Everybody that should be muted, please remain muted.
Fire I heard the other day, a great one, a really good one, as opposed to those that
Okay.
aren't so good. But his incredible background and education was,
Somebody's got to mute, please.
said this guy, and I endorsed him, and he went like a rock.
That was it. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Okay. We have Silver Engineering up on 13 Vernon Street, please.
Good evening. This is a continuation from our last hearing where we were discussing a limited project for a single-family home and wetland replication, a crossing, and all that other complicated fun stuff. We provided the one-to-one replication. We provided details on compensatory storage. There was additional comments from the town engineer this afternoon, I'm sorry, about 5 o'clock on the construction of the culvert, the construction of the wall, and a hydraulic capacity analysis. So the wall is schematic in nature at this point. A structural design would be completed prior to construction. It wouldn't be completed as a permitting and a conservation permitting. The culvert at 18 foot wide, I don't anticipate a problem with hydraulic capacity, but I understand the commission would want to see calculations. And so given the late nature of the comment, I don't have that prepared. If the commission wishes to ask or any other questions with regard to this one, if they've had a chance to visit or anything else, I welcome comments.
You know, again, we were out before. I just got the large plans a little while ago, but as you just stated, this is a complicated filing, and there's a lot here, and there's a lot of concerns from abutters that we need to look at further and really get a good scope on. So at this point, I did a lot of thinking before this meeting, looking at those large plans, and then it is a very complicated. You're talking about a crossing, replications, limited projects. It's a big scope. I am going to propose to the board, as we've done in the past when we've had a complicated situation, that really, there's all different types of wetland filings, as you know. This one is very complicated, and I would propose to the board that we, and it would be, I believe, in the best interest for the applicant, along with the abutters, that we bring in an outside source to take a look at this, as we've done in the past. We have used wetland strategies on occasion on a complicated filing, a lot of DEP note. I would just feel more comfortable, and I will propose this to the board. So Harry, Eileen, comments, please.
I think we need an outside wetlands expert to make sure that this is going to be double checked, and because it is huge.
It's huge.
It's one hell of a bridge, and there's a lot. I can't believe it's dry, but there's a lot of water running through there normally. I've seen it many times, and I would want this. And I'm sure the applicant's going to do it right. I just want to make sure that we cross our I's and cross our T's and dot our I's.
We want to make sure that everybody is taking a good look at this. Harry?
Yeah,
on that?
I'm going to agree. We've done it in the past, and it's a big project, and there's a lot of things that we don't know that the wetland specialists do know, and we've used a couple in the past, so I suggest we do it again.
Okay.
And may I speak? May I? So the town engineer's review is not good enough or not thorough enough? Is that the suggestion?
I think there's just yes, we always look at Azu's and Azu's comments and stuff, but I think there's a lot at stake here, and I'm just feeling that an outside source for both the applicant and the abutters is warranted. That's just my personal opinion at this time, that, there's a lot here.
Will the commission get 3 quotes? That way there we can choose a more economical.
Yes. We can get 3 quotes. That's perfectly fair. So at this time, I would propose to the board, I believe we need to take a vote on that.
May Mr. Buginga speak for a moment before your vote?
I'm sorry, what was that?
May Mr. Buginga.
Well, we're just voting on, we're still going to hear further stuff going on. We're just voting right now on
Wetland.
on a wetland specialist. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're voting on a specialist when Mr. Steve Zobo probably has his input that we're replicating 1,500 feet of wetland that we're moving. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. Is it 1,500 feet or is it more? How many square feet are we replicating?
It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
No, but I'm saying, how are we actually disturbing, Steve? On
the ratio, Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong.
4,000.
Okay, so we're replicating 4,000 feet of wetland area. It's not a big crossing. It's under the Army Corps of Engineers. I understand that there's a lot of conflict, but this isn't really a big project. We have a structural culvert that's designed. If they want calculations, we agree. But as far as we've had an botanist out there, we've had an engineer, we've had the city engineer, a zoo. If this is, like we've waited for the comments to come in, we've waited for the comments to come in 4 weeks now. A zoo has come back at the 5th hour with this comment. That's fine, we understand. But as far as more botanists and more engineers, we're moving 4,000 square feet, which is within the legal limit. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve.
It is within the legal limit, but this is still, it's a limited project. It's not something that comes before us. It's the commission's right if they feel that they need another opinion. It's all right. We're not comfortable at this point. At least I'm not comfortable at this point. So again, I'm going to put this out there to the board right now on a vote on the proposal.
I understand.
Look at 3.
You're saying, ma'am, but I'm just saying at a certain point that we keep prolonging this and going, it's a hardship of it's spending money, And B, at some point with 24 or 40 acres, at some point, this comes to a point that I have to pull the plug of making my own family home and making this a subdivision. So if this goes much further than,
Again, I'm going to start. No further comment on this right now for me.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't about time. This is about having it done right and having the commission, when they make the decision, having every information in front of them.
but
That
you do
is,
but you do
that-
have,
but that's the commission's job to
Oh, why
decide.
don't you let her finish?
That's the commission's job to decide. So at this point, I'm going to do a roll call vote with the commission on an outside input, please. All right, Chair would entertain a motion.
Make a motion for the board to approve an outside wetland specialist to come in and make their recommendations on the project.
And before I give my vote, I've been on for 10 years, and we did this when the zoo was even on our agent. We had wetland specialists come in even when he was our agent. Second.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? We will obtain 3 proposals. Roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey?
Aye.
Eileen Prisco?
Aye.
All right, that being said, going forward now, we're continuing with this notice of intent. Steve, please, can you update us anything further on your end on points, and also with the zoo?
Yeah,
input, please?
I spoke with the zoo this morning about the specs regarding the crossing. You know, I think it's something that needs to be done as far as the specs go and the specifics go with the footings. I think the footings were something that I was concerned with, probably my only concern on this project, and that was because engineering is outside my scope. On the wetland side, and the regulatory side of this project, I am in agreement with the applicant's proposal at this point that the project meets the performance standards of the Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Bridgewater bylaw. But I understand also that during the time of COVID and pandemic and the plans and a lot of things have been thrown and gotten disjointed, and that's caused a lot of miscommunication. And the commission needs more time to review this, and they will also need another set of eyes to look at it, and that's fine. The 2 points I wanted to touch on that have been raised a couple of times now are the flood zone storage capacity, which, Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong again, are incorporated within the tanks that are within the structure.
Correct.
So that has been taken care of as far as a performance standard standpoint, because all you have to do is provide that flood storage zone capacity. And the other thing is, as far as this being a limited project, it is to simply access the upland. That is the scope of this project. It's not that I don't care what goes on the upland portion of this property, but I also have faith in the wetland scientist that was sent out there to delineate these wetlands, that had time to go out there and look and check for any signs of potential vernal pools, and did an overall probably scope of the property, because there's no sense in trying to access this much upland if there isn't something to gain from getting that upland. So therefore, when we get to the point, in the event that this is accepted and applied to the land and approved, there will come a time where we have to go through this process again. And that's if Mr. Virginia decides to build within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, because there are potential possibilities where he can keep the entire project outside of the commission's jurisdiction. With that much land to play with it back there, he could probably stay out of every single buffer zone. So that's down the road. That's something that the commission will deal with at a later time, if at all. But I will stand on my point and saying that, to me, this project meets the current performance standards for the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the limited project status. And the only thing I had was the questions about the engineering, which the commission has not had time to review. I'm okay with the letter that Rebecca had submitted, talking about structural engineering plans being submitted and a order being specifically crafted to address that. so that we weren't caught in a situation where liability spread around to the commission for putting in a faulty stream crossing or whatever the case may be. That this is all done with the engineering and proper engineering standards and protocols put into place. So that's how I'll rest my case. But
All right.
I'll look forward to, meeting with and hopefully filling in the other person who will take a look.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. I always appreciate your input. And I work with great doctors, and it's the same thing. Sometimes a second opinion is needed. Doesn't mean the first one's wrong. Just sometimes you want two experts agreeing on something that I consider very important. So thank you. And at this time, I'll open it up to the board members, Harry and Eileen. Any further questions or comments?
None.
Okay,
No,
at this time then, Jasmine, I will open it up to the general public if they have any comments or questions on this filing, which is the notice of intent, 1300 Vernon Street, map 124, lots 26, 12, and 81.
Mr. Newton, I'm going to ask you to please unmute.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Kevin Newton, 1370 Vernon Street. For the record, I work as a conservation agent as well, so I have a different kind of perspective when viewing this than, say, the general public. I just have a number of points. I'll try to be brief, just list out my points, and if the commission decides they want to speak about it or save it for a later date, sounds like this is probably going to need to be continued, can be addressed then. So first, I want to start off that I disagree with the agent regarding that this is limited to only accessing the upland, mainly due to the fact that within the notice of intent application, within the introduction, there's a sentence that states the applicant proposes to the construction of a single family home and 37 acres of land. So that's actually within the application itself. So I disagree with that it's solely limited to this wetland crossing, and I believe that the proposed house should be shown on the plan. Second, when you look at the overall plan, it's not, I don't believe it's been completely delineated. There's no topo shown, buffer zones aren't shown. And my fear is that if you accept this plan as is, that going forward, it can be used as the plan of reference, as it has already been approved as is by the commission. Third, I was curious to see if the agent had actually visited and gone on site with the applicant or the representative to actually verify the wetlands back there.
I did it by myself.
Okay. And let's see. I would like to point out that the overall site plans, the large site plan and the plan that's currently on your screen actually differentiate with the proposed driveway. On the overall site plan, you have a straight line almost with the driveway going straight out. And on this plan, it actually curves behind property number 1188. I'm not sure if you can pull that up and you can see the difference for yourself.
Thank you.
And lastly, I believe that that Bridgewater has a no-touch zone at 25 feet for BEW. So I know that this project impacts that and it goes into that no-touch zone. So is replication enough, or is there a variance process for allowing that activity in a no-touch zone? Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you for your comments, Kevin. Have a good evening. Jasmine, any other comments or concerns from anybody in the public right now, please?
Yes, Charlene, I'm going to ask you to unmute, please. Charlene, would you still like to speak?
Going once, going. All right, Jasmine, anybody further then?
No, not seeing any further hands raised, no comments.
Does Rebecca want to answer Mr. Newton's questions?
Thank you. Some of them, I was trying to jot some of his questions down. The idea of the limited project and the approval of only a limited project is still within the scope. We don't want the commission to look at where we're going to put a house yet. We haven't really done the topography, like you said, for the whole site. We're not going to go topography and survey 24 plus acres without knowing, can we actually get an approval to enter the site and build what we want to build? It's a waste of time.
And actually, Rebecca, you're spot on
Yes.
with that. I mean, I'm more concerned about the crossing, the
Understood.
wetlands. What
So
goes
I'm
on
gonna-
uplands is not my jurisdiction or our jurisdiction, so
Right.
yes,
So let
our
me
concern
continue.
is the wetlands, yep.
Let me continue. So on your screen, you do have an overall site plan that does differ from the one you have. Again, we went to ZBA asking permission for a special permit for the retreat lot. We didn't do a full survey at the time of ZBA because, again, we needed to get one step at a time. Can we get through ZBA to get this retreat lot? We did it conceptual. We did it knowing that the rules that they had in place and showing that we met their rules at the time. Then we went and we had it flagged. We had it located by survey. We asked the commission certain flags on our NOI to say, would you please look at these flags and confirm that you agree? We didn't ask for all 24 acres to be confirmed and agreed upon. That would be at a different time. So we were very specific in our NOI on which flags and which numbers we wanted the commission to review. That's why we didn't do any more at this point. We're not going to disturb more than we have to. The 25-foot no-touch buffer, I don't believe there's a variance request. I believe anything else is from the commission's point of view on how they want to handle the disturbance of the 25-foot no-touch for this limited crossing. I can't remember any of your other comments, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Rebecca. And again, you know, we're going to get back out there with a good set of plans, looking at these flags and everything. You know, we're going to do more of our due diligence also. So thank you for addressing Kevin's comments. At this time, Jasmine, any further?
No, not seeing any hands raised, nothing in the chat.
Okay. Then Rebecca, would you be requesting a continuance?
I wish for a continuance, but before I do that, will this be a quorum site walk that we needed to coordinate? Is this a one-on-one?
I think it's another, yeah, I think it's a quorum site walk that I believe Harry, Eileen, do you agree?
Yep.
Okay, so again, we'll have to coordinate with our schedules, and if you can have, you know, yourself or your botanist or anybody on site.
Well,
that would be great.
yes. I was going to say Ken is still on the call if he wants to volunteer his services. If not, I can be there as well.
So Ken can get a 2-for-1 that day.
He's waving okay. Yes.
So we'll, does that sound like a plan? We'll try to do them on the same day, Ken, for everybody's schedules.
He's saying okay, but he's muted.
Okay, that's fine. So we will work to make it a one-day event with the site quorum walks, which again,
So-
for anybody listening, will be posted 48 hours in advance.
So on that note, I wish the commission to continue to the next available meeting.
Which is the 24th. Okay, at this time, and Rebecca, you know to put that in writing for Jasmine. in the
I
morning,
will, right before we hang up. How's that?
How did all right, show off. No.
Sorry.
No worry. Okay, at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion to continue the hearing for 1300 Vernon Street to September 24th at 6:30 PM.
Second.
All right, here in a second, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Beer,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll be in contact with the scheduling times that we can present for Ken. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, at this time, before we get into conservation business, Chair would entertain a motion for a 3-minute break.
Perfect.
I need a motion, baby.
Motion for a 3-minute break.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen for anybody who's actually listening to me.
We're just waiting for Eileen.
Oh, goodness.
Eileen, you're back, I see?
I am.
Perfect. Okey doke. All right, moving along, we are now going into Conservation Commission business. We are going to have, let's see, that was moved to there. So it is notice of intent, Pleasant Street, map 96, lots 13M, 1423. We had closed this, correct, Steve, on our last meeting?
Yep, sidewalk upgrades.
Right, okay. All right, so at this time, the chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Yep.
What number? I can't see this screen. It's so tiny.
It's 90, it's Pleasant Street, map 96, lots 13M, 1423, Eileen.
Lots.
Is that better at all, Eileen?
No.
It got larger on mine, yeah.
It did? Oh,
Yep.
there we go.
Oh, look at that, she's zooming right in.
There it is. All right. Pleasant Street. So we are gonna make a motion for an approval, correct?
Yes.
You can.
As we close the hearing? Yeah, okay.
Close the
So
hearing? I didn't
I'll
have.
make a motion to approve the Pleasant Street project map 96, is it? Lots 13, M14 and 23.
Second.
All right, here in a second, any further discussion? I had no issues on this, so let's roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay. Pleasant Street is approved. All right, moving next under conservation business is notice of intent 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 Crimson Way, map 111, lots 44, 15, 47, 49, 48. Okay, again, that was
Same
closed.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so we're just gonna make a motion for the approval.
I would,
correct?
chair would entertain a motion. Yeah.
Okay, make a motion to approve Crimson Way 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 maps 111 lots 44, 15, 47, 49, and 48.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Here in a second, any further discussion? Steve, just refresh my memory, was there any specials on this one?
No, none of these have any
I
specials.
didn't think so.
These are all really, they were kind of the ones we ran through last time because they were all associated with the same subdivision, buffer zone only. So typical standard conditions.
All right, I just wanted to double check, I didn't think. All right, roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay, we'll keep moving right along. Next under conservation business is notice of intent, 21 8R Auburn Street, map 78, lot 56. Chair would entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve 218 Rear Auburn Street, map 78, lot 56. Does that say?
Second.
Here in a second, any further discussion? There were no special conditions, so roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay. And then let me just make sure I'm staying in line here. Notice of intent, 425 Bedford Street, map 62, lot 9. Chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 425 Bedford Street, map 62, lot 9.
Second.
Here in a second, any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
All right. Continuing, notice of intent, 71 Old Field Road, map 52, lot 13-C18. Chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 71 Oldfield Road, map 52, lot 13C18.
Second.
Here in a second, any further discussion? Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Yep. Notice of intent 56 Arrowback Circle Extension, map 52, lot 13-C25. Chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 56 Urbeck Circle Extension, map 52, lot 13Z25.
Second.
In a second, any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Hi, thank you guys. And then last on this list is notice of intent, 50 Arrowback Circle Extension, map 52, lot 13-C26. Chair would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 50 Urbeck Circle Extension, map 52, lot 13, C26.
All right, did I hear a second? I'm sorry.
Second.
Hearing a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey.
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Okay, that completes conservation business per the agenda. Does anybody have anything else under conservation business that they'd like to discuss or update us on?
I can give you guys a couple updates. So, as far as the Nipanicket planting plan, I have suggested to town manager Michael Dutton that we wait until October to do the planting. He brought it in front of the town council, and they understand that that's going to be kind of our target date, just because that it's the typical time of the year to plant. It's the best time of the year to plant, and especially with this drought, hopefully we will be able to plant even at the end of October. I'm worried that if we do not receive enough rain, that we might be potentially throwing away plant material.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be planting it, and in this case where it's not as likely to get as much attention from a maintenance perspective, it worries me a little bit, but we can get through that, and we will. So other than that, I don't think there's anything else. I just want to make sure you guys were updated on that. We figured out the cutting down at the Keith homestead. Did Marilyn fill you guys in on that?
I believe Harry, I did with him. It was the the natural wildlife.
Mass Wildlife Fisheries?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's part of their, like I said, I couldn't figure out exactly who would have the reasoning to do that, and then comes to find out it is for wildlife purposes. So they do that typically to limit, potentially sometimes in the case of fire, as we're seeing on the West Coast, but also for quicker sprouting season, and some grasses need to be cut in order to resprout season after season. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else. It's been a long week.
Yeah, it certainly has. Anything else, guys?
Not me.
Okay, I will check in with everybody tomorrow then on schedules and stuff. And Jasmine, what time are you in office till tomorrow? Regular time 1?
Yeah, I'm in from 8 to 1, but you can always shoot me a text if.
Okay, well, I'll try to see if we can get everything coordinated for you tomorrow. Okay, Chair would entertain a final motion, please.
Motion to close the hearing.
No, motion to adjourn.
Oh, motion to adjourn. Whoops.
Headshot, very good.
I'm tired.
We're all tired. All right, we had the motion.
Thanks, Harry.
To adjourn, and we heard a second. All in favor. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey.
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
Everybody have a great night, and I'll reach out to you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.